Hey, welcome back to Personal Statement Planet. It's lovely to see you. My name's David, and this video is all about personal statement sentence starters. But in particular, it's to do with using the kind of vocabulary that's going to help you connect ideas together. It's going to help you add ideas, and it's going to help you form relationships between different ideas in your personal statement. By the time we get to the end, we'll also talk a little bit about how to introduce new ideas using the right vocabulary. And I'm going to give you a whole heap of suggestions, examples of the kinds of words, the kinds of vocabulary that you can use in your personal statement to make sure it rocks. Why do that? Well, because you might have like a ton of fantastic content in your personal statement. You might have done 300 courses. It's unlikely, but you know what I mean. You might have done lots of courses. You might have had some great work experience. You might have been an intern. You might have done some volunteering. You might be able to be super eloquent about how your transferable skills make you a great candidate. But if the vocabulary that you use in your personal statement is repetitive, it's a bit dull, it's just a bit boring, if it's the same kind of vocabulary that admissions tutor reads every single day on every single personal statement, the rest of the stuff that you include isn't going to shine. It's not going to stand out. It's not going to be reaching its full potential, okay? So this video is all about using the right words to highlight the important stuff, which is your content, okay? You can check out in the description below the blog post that goes with this video and loads of other free resources too over at Personal Statement Planet. So let's get into it. Connection, addition, relationship, and new ideas, sentence starters. Boom. So once you've begun writing about a particular topic or idea, you'll find that you need to connect one idea with another idea in a really concise, compelling way. You know, if you're writing a UCAS undergraduate personal statement, you've got 4,000 characters and that's it. And you cannot waste them on faffing about with writing great big long connections of rambling nonsense. You want words that will do the job in a far more eloquent way. So we're going to look at a few examples here, okay? So here are some really excellent suggestions for connecting or adding phrases within your personal statement. Specifically, as an example, subsequently, in opposition to illustrate, of equal importance to elaborate, as a response to, in addition to, furthermore, by definition, to counter this, equally inspired by, to complement my. So let's think about an example of how you might use one of those connecting sentence starters. Okay, let's go to elaborate. To elaborate. So you could say, I also read a book about molecular physics. Well, bully for you. I'm glad you did. That's awesome. But it's not really telling us any important information about why or how that book was relevant. If you said something like, to elaborate on my foundational understanding of molecular physics, I read such and such a book by such and such a person that showed me in more detail how to apply such and such a theory, and I think this theory will be of value in my further studies of this subject at university, then you're basically saying the same thing. You're saying I read a book, but by saying you're elaborating an idea, it's kind of showing that you've got the capacity not just to connect ideas together and draw your own conclusions, but to investigate, to be motivated, to draw ideas out and to discover new things. It might sound like a small thing, but just a simple change from I also read a book to elaborate can make all the difference in the mind of the reader. So it can be really important to illustrate clearly the relationship between a piece of research, a piece of knowledge, or an experience, or an idea that either you or someone else has had, and the course that you're applying for, or your ambitions. Creating a relationship between two ideas in a personal statement can be really important because it shows that you're capable of that kind of connection. It also shows that you have an active engagement and an active interest in that subject that goes well beyond just what your talk curriculum is showing you. Don't forget, the focus of the reader needs to be on the content, not on all the kind of extra words that you use. So by making your writing concise, compelling, short, to the point, you're helping the reader to make the most of the points that you want to get across. Here's a few examples of words you can use to relate one thing to something else. The evidence suggests. The correlation between. This outcome shows that. This research demonstrates my. Considering this approach. The effect of my. Both experiences emphasize my. The outcome of this internship. It is apparent that. The combined results of my. The links I have developed between. This qualification supports my. So don't forget, those are all really excellent examples of the kinds of sentence starters you can use to connect ideas and to show relationships between things. Really important when you're looking to work or apply at a higher level of education. Sometimes, of course, you don't want to just make a conclusion or show a relationship or a connection between one or two things. You want to introduce a whole new idea. And sometimes you want to do that because you know that, dependent on your subject or your field of study, that's an important aspect of your application. But sometimes you want to do it because you genuinely have like a unique, original, fantastic, personal thing to say. It's got to be relevant, but as long as it is, introducing it can really make your personal statement stand out. And so the words that you use to introduce something original and unique need to be really specific and really strong as well. Don't forget that this kind of thing also shows really clearly your knowledge and your previous experience. And so by having really dynamic and effective vocabulary, you're showing that you're a suitable candidate for higher study. So let's have a look at some of the ways that you can introduce new ideas at the starts of sentences in your personal statement. Seldom have I been. The majority of. As identified by. Similarly I have further. It is often presumed. I challenged this by. To better prepare for this application. Having been inspired by. Prior to my. According to. Additional research has revealed. So we've outlined here some connections and some additions, ways that you can join ideas together, ways that you can add one idea to a previous thought. We've also thought a little bit about relationships, how we can show relationships between ideas using keywords. And right at the end here, we've thought a bit about how we can introduce brand new ideas in an original way. All of those things are really, really important when it comes to a personal statement, because you want the person who is reading it to be absolutely blown away by your vocabulary, but we also want them to kind of forget the words that are introducing things and connecting things and concluding things. We want them to focus on the content. And by using these short, concise, original, powerful phrases, you make the reader skip, if you like, right to what's important and not feel as though they're wading through lots of filler. And that's a really powerful tool to have when you're writing a personal statement. I hope this has been helpful. I hope it's been valuable. I'm really pleased that you watched the video. If you want to check out the website, check it out down below. There's loads of resources there, and you can also copy and paste and grab some of these words yourself from there and start putting them into your personal statements. Good luck on your journey, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.